Hi, my name is Adam Holzer. Welcome to the show Game Changers here on Culker Interactive. Got a very special guest for you today, Mr. Tyler Fox. He is a game changer as a young professional, making it here on Long Island. Tyler, welcome. Thank you very much for coming on Game Changers today.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me.
So, let me ask you something. When you hear Game Changers, what do you even think of?
Oh, boy. Well, those who are really making a name for themselves on Long Island. Professionally, personally, I think it's about those who you really make great connections with. Long run, long-term friendships.
So, I have my own selfish reasons why I asked you to be my guest on Game Changers today, but I'm going to ask you, why do you think you're here on Game Changers?
Well, first of all, my shoes. You love my shoes. I'm a guitar player. No, but in all seriousness, I think it's just the relationship we have. I think it's the relationship you have with JM2 Architecture, with our firm, with my team members, and really me wanting to make a difference here on Long Island.
Well said. So I'm 33. You're 29.
29.
So you got a couple years under me. But I have to tell you, out of all of the people I know, the people I have in my business community, you are probably one of the most impressive young professionals I've ever not only had the pleasure to work with, but just to even know in general. The three reasons off the top of my head is you're just a super nice guy and a great human being. You're highly motivated, and when you talk about like doing what you love to do, like you've been doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
So like that's why I wanted you here today on Game Changers.
Yeah, and I appreciate those words. I mean, it's not often you meet someone that you really form that kind of relationship so quickly. I mean, we met almost 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, and I feel like I've known you for a long time. 6 years I've been here, like you said, and it feels like I've known you for 6 full years. But that just goes to show you the extent of our relationship, and being a nice guy, kind of having those relationships, I think goes so far in the networking world, in just all the connections you make, and in your business career. You really got to, keep that professional kind of kindness. But I mean, I certainly wouldn't want it any other way, of course. But
so, tell me this: you're 6 years with the same firm.
Yeah.
So ran by James Manicone and his partner, JM2 Architecture. You talk about loyalty, you talk about growth, and really elevating yourself in your career. I would just love to hear a little bit about your story and just your journey there.
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, there's no better place to be. JM2 has given me the best opportunity. James and John, they really have pushed me to my limits to really get me to where I am. No, it's absolutely true. I mean, they put me and put anyone in those tough positions early on in your career to really help you grow and kind of make real world decisions. But my story is pretty interesting. I mean, as you know, I'm not from Long Island. Not a lot of people my age can say they're not from Long Island. I moved down here about 6.5 years ago from Orange County, New York, and it was the weekend after I graduated college is when I moved down here. And, even before college, my interest in architecture, my enthusiasm for architecture really came at a much later time. Throughout high school, I wanted to be a math teacher. I was great at math. I was that kid who took Calc 2 in high school, and I was like, you know what, I love math, I'm going to do math. And then mistakenly, I was kind of placed into an architecture course, and kind of really opened my mind to, well, this is a field, this is an area where I can use my math skills, but still my artistic skills. It's a good mix between technical and creative thinking. So that's really why I fell in love with it and pursued architecture at Alfred State College in Western New York, and really fell in love with it. And even my journey to Long Island really happened very quickly. I was originally going to move to Boston, Massachusetts, pursue my master's in architecture. And an opportunity came through one of my best friends at JM2 Architecture, who said, there's an opportunity for you down here if you want to move to Long Island. And I'm thinking, from Orange County, New York, Long Island, man, that's quite a different world, and not someplace I've ever been. So took the trip down here. I met John and James, and I really fell in love with down here, and with them, with the firm, and with what opportunities I would have moving down here. And, you know, after a long decision, kind of making, you know, a lot of thought, I decided to move down here, and really, you know, one of the best decisions.
Would you say that in general you're a risk taker? You roll the dice a little bit?
I would say probably not, but it really depends. I think with the nature of what I do, it's important to be able to take some risks, but you really have to think outside of the box. But it's also very important not to be a risk taker, be a little more practical thinking. But I think that's kind of the nature of architecture.
I hear it. So we talk about what we do. Sometimes we talk about why we do it. I would love to know your why behind what you do.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I think it's so important for people in the public and generally speaking to have, not to say to have an architect, but I think that it's important for someone to be able to go to someone for all the different services we do, whether it's something for their home or for their, you know, their overall planning of things. I think what we do and what I do and what I've really fallen in love is being able to change someone's world in a way unlike no other. I mean, it starts from a pencil to a piece of paper, and it turns into a habitable space, you know, someplace, you know, similar to this, where, you know, you can step inside, interact with, and you know, in the case of maybe someone's home, start a family, start a life, and that's something that we don't take lightly. And I think as a why, there's nothing more powerful than being able to change people's lives in that fashion. And then even for me, I mean, like I said, design is such a perfect balance of technical side of your brain and communication, speaking, writing, and art and design, and then everything in between. You know, obviously there's a lot of code books. There's a lot of towns and villages and jurisdictions that are going to really dictate it, you know, part of the story. But the why is to be able to really really use your entire brain and your entire thinking with the processes. So.
You ever find yourself in a position where you're looking at something and you just see it, and you're going to see it completely different than the way anyone else is going to look at it?
Oh, every day.
And you're like, man, this would be really cool if we did this. But in your head, you're like, I don't know if I should say this. Tell me a little bit about that struggle.
Yeah, you know, I think it's important to kind of have those thoughts and to say, you know, it'd be really cool if we could do this, but there's always time, there's always budget, there's always codes, and that's all, you know, you got to kind of scale it back a little bit. And that happens very often. But I think the nature of our thinking is to say, wow, imagine if it was this, how amazing that would be. But, you know, it's often not.
We're going to fast forward 10 years. You're 39 years old.
Oh.
Where's Tyler Fox and what's he doing?
Oh, man. Well, certainly I think in this part of my life, trying to plan for the next 5, 10, 25 years on Long Island. I mean, my goals is to really develop myself into the type of professionals I see in John and James. You know, a leader in the industry, a business owner, and someone who's really making a difference in not only Long Island, but in many families and businesses' lives. So I think that's first and foremost, professionally, where I want to be. You know, it's pretty crazy to think what 10 years could bring, considering where I was 10 years ago. There's no way I would have ever imagined where I am now, even 7 years ago, 6 years ago. So that's an interesting question. But you know what? Certainly, I see myself here. Certainly, I see myself making more relationships, closer relationships and friendships. And again, making a difference in the infrastructure, making a difference in the building and the designs here on Long Island.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being here on Game Changers.
Absolutely.
And keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a great job.
Well, Adam, thanks so much again, and I look forward to doing these more often. Thanks so much.